Run the globe, following my dream. Finna get it, we don't know the fee. We got dogs.
Hey, how y'all doing? It's Rick Sincere with MTNV Sports, y'all, and this is episode 2 of the Following My Atlanta Dream podcast. We're trying this out. We'll see how it works out, right? I'm Rick Sincere, and I'm really happy to be here today with the one, the only Meghan Hall of, hold on, how do I say it, right? I'll just say the voice of WNBA Media. How you doing today, man?
I'm living the dream, as the kids say. Always.
I love it. So I just have a few questions I want to ask you about this dream team, right? We've been covering for the better part of maybe like a third of it, half of the season, right? More than half of the season. So let's get into it a little bit. All right, in your opinion, who has been the MVP over the course of the last few games?
Ooh, on just the dream?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. That's tough. I would probably say it's a tie right now between Brittany Griner and Jordan Canada.
Okay.
I feel like Griner obviously had this really big streak. I think it was 6 out of 8 games, where she was in double figures. She had a really big game against Minnesota, right? Really, I think she had 20 plus points. But I felt like Jordan Canada has been helpful as well. Jordan had that massive game on Tuesday against Golden State, which I thought was fantastic for her because she really kept Atlanta in that game. But she's also been a really good presence on the defensive end, and so I think that's kind of been underrated. So yeah, I'd probably say honestly it's a tie.
Yeah, I like the tie. So I love the fact that you mentioned Griner, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think she's been amazing as well. And Jordan Canada, I don't know if the league has seen what we see all the time, but she is a beast. She's remarkable, very fast. She's a playmaker, great shooting ability. I can see that for sure. All right, so now I thought another answer was going to come, but we'll get to that later. All right, Cool, here we go.
Keeping him on his toes, right?
All right, so what do you believe makes this team most vulnerable to unexpected losses? Because I feel like the last time we were in this building, we saw an unexpected loss. What makes them so vulnerable to those?
Yeah, for Atlanta, I think if they don't come out with that same defensive intensity throughout the entire game, you might see a loss, right? So Jordan Canada actually talked about it as well in the postgame. She basically talked about how through the first 3 quarters of that game against Golden State, they did not have the defensive intensity they needed to have. So you saw that. Hey, Liam, you guys can't see it, but Liam's in the background. But they didn't have the defensive intensity they needed to have, right? So they were down by 13 going into the fourth quarter. Now, obviously, they helped erase that lead, but it took a lot to do that. By the time they did it, they kind of ran out of steam at the end. So I think for them, if they don't start fast on defense and getting those deflections, getting those steals, getting those lanes cut off, those sorts of things, you're going to see them crawl, right? Their defense actually dictates a lot of their offense many times.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see it more where their offense just fires from the very beginning, but I think, that defensive intensity is not strong from the beginning. It's probably going to be a long night.
No, and I agree with you 100%. One of the things that I had a question about is why do they start every third quarter so slow? We've seen it. It's not just me. I don't think it's just me. Yeah. But I think we've all seen it. And they mentioned it, right? Yeah. So it seems like whatever happens at halftime, I don't know. But going into that fourth quarter, it's a little bit slow. And they've lost the third quarter for a few games now. Yeah. So why do you think that is?
Sometimes it's just about, again, keeping that same intensity, right? You have that break. Honestly, the halftime, yes, it's for adjustments, but sometimes when you're not on the court for those couple of minutes, you can lose that momentum. And I know that sounds strange because it's halftime's a reset, but in my opinion, I think it's a couple things. Sometimes the break kind of disrupts that momentum, but also teams adjust, right? So, and that's something we have to talk about as well. In that third quarter, I often think to myself, okay, can Atlanta weather the storm of the third quarter? Because that's usually where teams adjust, right? I would like to see more from them where they are being the dictators for that third quarter, right? We've seen it at times throughout the season, but not consistently enough. And I think if they were able to, again, turn it on to the third and take it into the fourth, you probably see a lot more them getting wins against not just, teams on a night-to-night basis, but consistently stringing those wins together.
She's a wealth of knowledge, y'all. And the reason I bring that up is because I've thought about so much on why they would have a problem in the third quarter. One thing I did not think about is the adjustments from the other team. And I should have definitely thought about that first. That's a great point. All right, so we'll speed it up a little bit because I know we got to get off the court. So in your opinion, right, where does this team rank, power rankings, in your opinion? Where do you see them ranking, and how does the league see them?
Yeah, so I think for Atlanta, they've been sitting somewhere around 4 or 5, right?
Yes.
So it's been the Lynx, it's been New York, it's been Phoenix, and then usually Atlanta somewhere around 4. If on a night they aren't there, it's usually Seattle in that range.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of where they've been all year. That's not necessarily a bad thing, though, because I remember last year at training camp, they said they wanted to be a top 4 team. And that's where they are right now, right? Like, they've won more games this season than they did last season. They look a lot better. They are continually in that sort of top 4 mix. I think for them, like, power rankings are fun because they just change every week. You never know what you're going to get. But I think for Atlanta, they've kind of sat there. I think as far as their ceiling, this is first year of Smesco, so it's hard for me to be like, oh, this is it and nothing else. But from what I've seen, I mean, honestly, out of Atlanta, in my opinion, has enough to make it to the WNBA Finals. I think if they were to be consistent, those late game situations that we talked about, them getting caught in, their defense being consistent, right, they could be in the WNBA Finals. That's how good these flashes have been from them. You've seen the games from the road wins they just pulled off in Phoenix, in Minnesota. That is how good that they are. So I think that's where I see them. I'm not sure if that will happen this season. I mean, that'd be fantastic, right? But I don't know. But I see that for Atlanta in their future. It'd be great for them to win a WNBA championship. Obviously, the city would be on fire for that. But I think for Atlanta, it would show that, like, the talent that is here can be honed, can be pruned, can be built around, and they can build a sustainable success, or a model for sustainable success for the future.
So look, here's my last question, right?
Okay.
Because I'm looking at Smesco, and I think the most impressive thing for me that he's done, right, is turn Naz Hillman into a shooting phenomenon. She's hit one three. She's hit 1 3 in 7 years, right? None through college. That's 4 years, right? Three seasons, no 3. Well, 1 3, right? That's 1 in 7 years. This year, she's shooting out the gym. That's been impressive to me.
Yeah.
That makes me believe in Smesco. What makes you believe in Smesco?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I'll address the first part. So I think what you're seeing from his players are a belief in him. They've been believing in him since he got here, but also it's a confidence thing. He also said, hey, I want you to shoot. I don't care if you make it or not. I want you to shoot. Yeah. And that's what you're seeing out of Naz Hillman is she's like, okay, I got clearance. I'm going to shoot. But for Naz, I think she picks her spots, right? That's why it's like, oh, okay, we got a shooter out here, like, sort of thing, right? So I think for her and really anybody on this team, they have brought into, like, I can shine in different ways. I can be used in different ways. Naz has always been this player, I would say. But I think what you're seeing is this extra gear that we weren't even sure. I think, well, I'll say this. I knew she had it. Okay. I've been here for 3 seasons.
Okay.
But I think much of the public is like, oh, wait a minute. So for me, that is the player development. And I think that's really what's been underrated in this team is player development. And to put together essentially a bunch of different players, new scheme, new coach, you've got a new system, and they are thriving. So I think that's really impressive for Carl, having spent 2 decades plus at the college level. I mean, Carl, again, I put it in here before preseason. I said, keep your eyes on Carl Smesco as a dark horse for Coach of the Year. I still believe in that. That's very, very possible, depending on what happens the rest of the season. And I think people are going to see that what he's building in Atlanta is very, very real.
I love it. Yo, so I'm going to say this. They need this information I'm about to ask you for.
Okay.
Follow her in all social media situations, right? You got, TikTok, follow on Twitter, right? Definitely up to the moment news on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And really, really cool stuff on TikTok, funny stuff on TikTok, right? So how can they find you on these places? Where can they find, you on Twitter?
Yeah, so it's Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, like you mentioned, all those things. It's Meghan L Hall. So ITS, Megan with an H because I'm a little fancy, L as in love, and then Hall. So it's Meghan L Hall on everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure to be here with the voice of the WNBA.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Y'all have a phenomenal day. God bless.
It's not just about the love of the game. It's about dedication and commitment through the process and the patience to endure. There's joy in reaching your goals and peace in knowing you've done all you're supposed to do. Ozell brand. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle.